And we're live. Thanks for joining. Looks like Todd's already here. Kevin's checking in from sunny Florida. Mark checking in from the East Coast, saying happy eve of Christmas Eve. Tennessee Mike joining us, probably in Tennessee. But it's never safe to assume that because Floridian always joins in, and who knows if he's in Georgia. There he is right there. You don't know if he's in Florida or Georgia or where the heck he is. Chicago, maybe. Bill K, congrats on the 90,000. Thank you very much, Bill. Tim's checking in from Kansas City. Bean Boy checking in from Pennsylvania. First sip of the evening, and I have to say that stuff is delicious. Jeff is here. Thanks for joining as people roll in. Nate Dogg checking in from suburbs of Chicago. Outside of that, even probably a little bit. Paul checking in from Dallas. Angelo checking in from Lisbon. And looks like Colt 357 Python, cool username, checking in from South Carolina. Larry C checking in. Dane checking in from Florida, #1 troll killer. Let's see. My buddy Joe checking in from Ohio. Merry Christmas. Thank you. Stuart's checking in. Thank you. Congrats on the 90,000. Appreciate it. Let's see. Blues Dog here. Thanks for joining. As people roll in, I really don't have too much of a topic. James Duffy's here. Thanks for joining. Odo, I think that's how you say that. Checking in from Florida. A lot of Florida peeps. A little jealous. It's snowy. It's actually not that super cold out. I was just one of my kids are home, and my son's buddy came over, who's also he's home visiting his family, and they're backing out of my driveway. My driveway's a little tricky, for people that aren't used to it. He ended up like in a ditch, no damage or anything like that. It's pretty easy ditch or whatever, but it's easy to get stuck in it. So had to fire up the Forerunner. I have a strap, hooked him up, 4 low, just kind of pulled him right out. So Dr. Bob's Nightmare checking in from the Bay Area, 4 o'clock crown here. Das Prompt. Blues Dogs checking in from New Jersey. Dane says it's in the mid 70s. Yeah. I'm really looking at booking a flight to Florida in February. I got to get with the missus and get that figured out. Just a lot going on right now. My good friend Leslie checking in from Maryland. Let's see, Eric is here. Paul's here. Todd says, all right, let me get some comments here. Any purchases you're looking towards the next year, Mimo's buy. I'm going to talk about that a little bit, and you can see quite a few of the watches in the second camera there. Those are all my watches. So I'm kind of with you on this, Mark. Going to try to set a budget. I think, you know what? I'm not even going to talk money or budget for me personally for my purchases, but I am going to rather talk about frequency of purchasing. So I originally had toyed with the idea of doing like 1 watch per quarter, but I don't even know if I'm going to do that. I might really push myself to, out of all of us, including you guys in the chat, for sure, most of you guys in the chat probably could get away with not purchasing a watch for a while. You probably have a ton of watches that you could just wear and enjoy. I've had this orange monster for 10 years now, and I wear it more than any of the other watches. So we're a little unrealistic when it comes to purchasing and trying a watch and stuff like that. Do you really need to own it? Could you just try it and flip it or do whatever? You could do something like that. But yeah, I think I'm going to cut way back. We'll see. Now, Random Rob, he gets a pass because, he's running a YouTube channel and, he's got to do what he's got to do. He's got to buy new release G-Shocks when they come out and just stuff like that. So Broke Watch Fanatic says, Rob, do you ever wish you were a 1 to 3 watch collection kind of guy? Yeah, I definitely am envious. Occasionally, I am envious of people that are like at that level where they just have like a few watches. But I've accepted a long time ago that's not me. That's not how I operate. So yeah, It's not going to happen with me. It's just not going to happen. I don't see it honestly. I don't see it ever happening. Like even if I were like, all right, I'm not going to do watches anymore. I'm still going to have more than 3 watches. That's just it's just how I am. So yeah, Tennessee Mike says I'd be bored really quick. I don't know that I'd get bored necessarily because I've been watching. There's been a lot of people posting up with other channels, state of the collection videos, which I'll do mine soon. But then there's also people focusing on most worn watch of 2024. And I took part in Teddy Baldessar's video that he did. He does a great job of that every year, his team. And it was the Orange Monster for me. Now I don't document that. Like there's people that spreadsheet that and document that and can have percentages of certain things. I don't care to do that. I just know what I wear and what I don't wear, and I'll talk about that a little bit when I do my state of the collection. Dr. Bob says I was a one watch guy, and then 10 months later, I had a dozen watches. Yeah, it can escalate quickly for sure. Dane, I look forward to seeing that. Dane has a massive Zelos collection, so it'll take many videos to accomplish it. I mean, you could do long form, you could just do one, but I'm sure it'd be over an hour long. Let's see. Doug says, I'm kind of the same way regarding watches in 2025. After I bought my Stova for my 40th birthday, I kind of hit critical mass for my collection. There's really 1 or 2 more watches I really want to get. And I'm kind of there too. There's watches that I'm interested in, and I even like kind of slotted them in. There's like different quarter purchases, but I've already kind of moved on from that. The longer I delay that gratification, I tend to um, lose interest in it. There are certain watches that I don't lose interest in, and maybe I'll achieve those, maybe I won't. But I will be turning 50 in 2025. So I do really want to hone in. I want to like cut out all the rabbit hole searches and all of the um, other tangents I go on for more affordable pieces all the way up to like most of the watches in those picture right there. A lot of people would deem those not quote affordable. Those are fairly expensive watches in the big scheme of things for sure. So I am going to I'm hoping to pick a watch for my 50th, and that might be my main purchase of 2025. So like I want to really hone in on that and select something that is going to be keeper status. Todd says I set my max watch goal to 8 for July. I finally just got to that number this week. Congrats on that. And that might be a little misleading for most people that are outside of us talking, would think that like you're trying to purchase 8 watches. No, 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 no. For those that don't understand the watch obsession, when Todd is talking about that, we're talking about reducing the amount of watches we have to a more manageable level of 8. So it's not like trying to achieve purchasing 8 watches. It's trying to like get rid of some watches. Let's see. See, Floridian says, Dane, we need to do a meetup in Naples, then head to the view this. Yeah. I will give you guys enough heads up if I can book a little trip. So do Seiko mods count? Do Seiko mods count? I'm gonna say yes. Because I think if we get too liberal with saying, this counts, this doesn't count, and everything gets pushed into this category of like reducing it down to like where I said G-Shocks don't count. Well, even that is, if you're rocking like MRGs or even like some more expensive MTGs and stuff like that, those kind of count, because you're pushing well over $1,000 for those. And some of these mods, depending on how you're doing them, some of these mods can push some bigger numbers. So I say they count. Let's see. Another Mark says, Merry Christmas, Rob. Thanks for the content as always. You're welcome. Dr. Bob says, if you're modding, you're in deep. Potentially, yeah. Yeah, we could do a little get together down in Naples. It's a beautiful area. There's stuff to do. So Calico says, nope, Seiko mods don't count. What is wrong with you? You are a monster, Rob. You've changed. They count unless you do. The only way I think a Seiko mod is not going to count is if it's kind of like a project car where it's like constantly under the knife. So like if you never complete it, meaning it's like always under construction, or it's like, yes, it's up and running and I can wear it, but it's not exactly the way I want it, then I think it's like this gray area where it's not really a watch yet because you haven't completed it. So maybe that could be the exception. Desire, I am sipping. He says, you scored some Knob Creek 9. Okay. I have yet to even try any Knob Creek. Okay. So there's this distillery not too far from where I am. It's in Thompsonville, Michigan. And it's called Ironfish Distillery. They make a bunch of different stuff, gins and everything, but they definitely have bourbon. I want to get over to their facility again. I've been there before, but this is bourbon whiskey finished in maple syrup barrels. I also make maple syrup. When we make maple syrup, it never goes into barrels. So I don't know. I need some clarification on that. I don't know what that means. So, but anyway, their standard bottle of this is 86 proof. Well, I was doing grocery shopping at a Meijer store, which is like a big grocery store. And the Meijer did a single barrel select. So this is one barrel. So what happens when you do single barrel with liquors or bourbons, they'll buy a single barrel and then whatever they pull from it, because whatever the size of the barrel is, if it's been sitting for 5-6 years or whatever, it's not full anymore. If some of it evaporates off. So it's barrel strength. It's 113 proof, and it is absolutely delicious. So I'm actually thinking about toying with the idea of going down to Ironfish and talking to them about doing a barrel pick and having the Random Rob logo on it. So, and I know he's not in the chat yet, but Big Bearded Viper has done this quite a few times for the Viper group guys. I don't know what the cost is or how it works, but I'm thinking about investigating that as an option. So if there's any bourbon lovers in the Discord that I have are interested in it, then I might be able to purchase one and then distribute it to them. Let's see. Butterflieger 911 or 911 says, best regards from Germany, Rob. 2:42 a.m. might be a little late for me right now. We'll watch the replay tomorrow. Good night. Yes. Get some sleep, man. That's almost 3 a.m. Let's see. David is asking, hey, Rob, looking for a dress watch under 1,000. Any suggestions? Under 1,000. If you go used or like over to even like Joma or something, you can push into some. Well, Dane is saying Seiko Presage, and you can do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's some really good Presage watches. I would push to see if you could score a good Tissot, or does Certina have? I think Certina might even have some dress watches. 4 o'clock crown, maybe a pre-owned Longines, but I would definitely look at like Tissot, Certina. You could even go vintage. Jason is saying maybe an Omega Constellation. That would be pretty crazy, even if it needed like a little bit of work. That would be a little bit more iconic, a little bit more cool, I guess. So actually, Dr. Bob's, I'm assuming you're saying Mojito, but like the drink, but there's actually a Seiko Presage Mojito. That is actually a really cool dress watch. Or you can go like super affordable and you can go like an Orient Bambino or something like that. Tennessee Mike suggested the Visitor Linden. Would you consider that a dress watch though? Maybe that's kind of more of a, I mean, I guess it could be. It would definitely be something different and it could probably pull that role depending on how dressy you really need it to go. On leather, yes. Okay. Well, it really only comes on leather. Really, that's the way to wear that watch. I'm not big into dress watches, so I'm the wrong person to ask on that. Cold 357 says, Rob, I'll be turning 50 in 2025 as well. What do you think would be a fitting watch for such a milestone? Depending on your budget, depending on your wants. And this is where I'm really going to struggle, but I think I'm going to be more likely to go for an icon. So I'm not buying, um, I will say this, I'm probably not buying, how do I say this? I'll probably buy what can be considered a luxury watch, but I'm not buying gold. I'm not buying Rolex. Um, not buying Tudor. So it really pushes me into maybe like a Breitling or an Omega. I don't know. I don't know yet. I'm still narrowing it down. Calico's asking, can I still join your Discord to get early access to watches and get more limited Random Rob interactions? Absolutely, you can. If Calico, if you would like to join as one of your split personalities and have multiple memberships, I fully encourage that. Let's see. Tim says Omega Seamaster 300. I think for a lot of people, that would be a really good one. But I already have like a solid lockdown on divers. I don't want an Omega diver. Paul, hold on. Hold on. Where am I at here? The chat went too fast. Dr. Bob says he went for an SLA 021 for his 50. That's awesome. Cartier Santos. I know a lot of people love those. I don't. Holy crap, I can't keep up with the chat. Nate Dogg says, turn 50 in December. The limited Unimatic U1 M16 was mine. Good choice. Yeah, Breitling there's a lot of good picks from Breitling. Doug says, Speedmaster Professional sounds good or God to me. Yeah, that's on the list. Fedora Gents here, Troll Killer number 2. Discount price for split personalities. Yeah, we could probably work something out, Jeff. Hey, Rob, I bought a GBD 200 on Poshmark and received it today. Congrats. Hey, Rob, I bought you said it twice. Okay, yeah. Calico is claiming that the Speedy is the best watch ever. I don't know about that. That's a pretty bold statement. They're definitely iconic. Those videos are legit addicting for sure. Yeah, and like you said, you can learn more about movements. You might not understand like how does this little machine work on your wrist. It's once you see a watchmaker like completely disassemble it, clean it up, rewind it, do all this other stuff, put it back together. You're like, okay, so it is magic. Calico's going to join multiple times in Discord so he can hoard watch tours. Haha, that'd be pretty funny. Let's see. Desire for my 50th, I went with the purple Sumo Zimby Thanos 6 years ago. I remember, I don't know if you bought it from my buddy Mitch. My buddy Mitch bought one of those. I remember I did a video on it, I think. Those are super cool watches. Yeah, it's good to see what other people buy. And exactly that, too. Like, there's, like Nate Dogg bought a Unimatic. And Desire 68 Frogman bought a Seiko. So, maybe I'm wrong in thinking like a luxury watch or an iconic watch. That's See, that's where I really got to wrap my head around what I really want and what I'm doing. And maybe I don't buy anything. I don't know. Because it comes down to this watch. This watch was under $200 in 2014 when my wife purchased it on Amazon for me for Christmas 10 years ago, and it's still my favorite watch. So, kind of maybe what is the point? Maybe for my 50th, this has been 10 years. Maybe I have this one fully serviced. Even though it's kind of running okay, but it could use new gaskets and stuff. So, yeah, definitely, Dane. You should check that out for sure. Or maybe I do a trip. Maybe I do a vacation instead and not a watch. I already have a bunch of watches. What is the point indeed, says the Wigmaster. What is the point? As we reflect on our life and our choices and all our ridiculous watch purchases, what is the point? I'll drink to that. Mm. Once it hits your lips, it's so good. Oh my God. All righty. Where are we at here? Some good comments here. Yes, Dane, you are taking another trip. Another trip. I'm so happy to see you doing these trips in April to Venice in Murano. Isn't it a Nissan? See, Jason says, I'm happy with watches, even if I didn't buy one this year. And to a certain extent, I don't even really need to buy watches. It's kind of silly that I do. I get to see thousands of watches every year. Thousands. Trap says vacation over a watch at this point sounds like a plan. Yeah, it actually makes more sense. So if I'm looking at spending like, I don't know, $5,000 to $10,000 on a single watch, it's actually kind of crazy. Let's see. Mark. I did hear about that, and I don't know. I think there's like Japanese pride or something with those dealerships, or that you don't typically have with the U.S. ones. Um, I don't understand the complexity of either of those companies, but I don't know why Honda would want to kind of bail Nissan out. I don't know what do they gain by doing that. Oh, there we go. That's an option too. That's pretty cool. The problem I have with that one, Tim, is most of the watches I'm thinking about purchasing, I either cannot get in certain areas, or I can get such good deals from my contacts. Well, I would just have to take a vacation. That would still work. I think you just kind of pulled it all together for me, Tim. I just need to take a vacation to Florida in February, make my purchase for my birthday in May. That's only a few months away from each other. That's fine. I think I could do that. Oh, 100%. 100%. People look for any excuse to buy stuff, memories, landmarks, connections. It's just stuff. So that's the other thing too. And I'm going to talk about that when I do my state of the collection video and or my video on this watch. But my relationship with material items, it was already like not that strong anyway. Like I didn't really like get attached to material items, but definitely when I had a total loss on a house fire in 2012, I really changed the way I looked at material items. They do not matter at all. With that being said, though, there are some things that I still like. I would be devastated if not devastated. I'd get over it. Don't get me wrong. It's just a watch. I'd get over it. But the Orange Monster, like, for example, if I'm wearing it, I'm a little possessive of it. So I like to know where it's at, that it's, taken care of and everything like that. But if I'm wearing it like on a trip or at a watch meetup or something, and people might see it and be like, oh, cool, that's the Orange Monster or whatever. If I'm wearing like any of those watches on the table, I'm probably going to pop it off my wrist and hand it to you so you can check it out. But if it's the Orange Monster, I'm not taking it off my wrist to show you the Orange Monster. Not going to happen. So I have a little bit of a weird relationship. Um, well, you say that, but I actually wouldn't. So, and that is again part of the loss of 2012 of losing things that I could have replaced that I didn't. So, if I were to lose this monster, this Orange Monster, I would not replace it. So, okay, some of that is relative, but it's also not true. So a guy did drop his watch after showing it to me, and then I handed it back to him. He had possession of it, and then he dropped it. I did not. And then I ended up buying the watch from him anyway, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, that is also true. What is this? Mark said, or hold on. Freaking comments. It moves fast. I did joke recently with a friend that if a dollar gets devalued, you're better off with hard commodities, aka stock up on booze and tobaccos. There's some truth to that. Some things will hold value better than others. Smooth way to get a discount. I gave him honestly, I probably paid what the watch was actually worth, even pre-drop, and it really didn't get damaged anyway. So he was done with it anyway. He didn't want it anymore. So did I feel bad that he dropped it and then I bought it from him? No, not at all. He was done with it. No, I couldn't. Sorry, Wig. I'm going to disagree with you on that completely. Let's see. Dane says, what Rob was doing wearing a Zelos, I have no idea, but must have been forced to do it at a pew pew point. I have worn Zelos watches. Serious question, are mechanical watches cold proof? That is actually a serious question, depending on the climate. But you got to remember now, like you're typically wearing the watch, and human body temp is 98 degrees. So if you were to measure the temperature of the watch that's on your wrist, it's probably less than 98 degrees, but not too far off from it. It's definitely going to be above 60, even if it's subjected to certain levels of cold potentially. But also, like the movement is technically closer to your wrist than it is not closer to your wrist in proximity because of the construction of most movements or watches. So if you take it off your wrist and it's actually subjected to legitimate cold, say it's like 14 degrees or whatever it is, yeah, I mean there's actual oil in there, and they have an operating efficiency within temperatures plus minus. Just like if you lived in, say, like Las Vegas or something, and you were subjecting your watch to extreme heat and excessive sun, it could also prematurely wear out those oils and lubricants. So cold and heat are bad for watches, but I would probably argue that if you're wearing your watch in the cold, it's easier for the watch to maintain good oil longer than if you were like living in the desert and subjecting it to massive heats out in the elements. I don't know about that, man. Only one way to find out. Someone dunk an Invicta diver in water and drop it in the freeze. I think people have done that on video. They've frozen. I know they've frozen like G-Shocks and stuff, but I think people have froze like SKXs and stuff and brought them back. Yeah, you just soak them in WD-40. They come right back, and then put them in some rice. They're fine. Oh, yes. Drew, I wanted an Orange Monster Gen 1, cheaper, but pictures of a lot of them more orange yellow than orange. Do Orange Monsters have a problem with their face fading? 100% they do, Drew. So, for example, I don't have a current, like a clean one here, But my orange monster has been in the sun so much that this orange is definitely faded. And if you look around on the interwebs, you'll find, because the dial is a different material than the chapter ring. The chapter ring is actually like a plastic resin. And I've seen pictures of the chapter ring. The dial would be faded too, but they're going to fade at different rates. I've seen some where that chapter ring, more so on the first gen, was so faded it was more yellowish. So, yeah, they definitely sun fade. The person who gave me the gift would appreciate it. Trying to read some comments here, see if there's any I want to click on. Oh, yeah. So in the beginning, a lot of people were congratulating me on 90,000 subscribers. Again, thank you very much on that. I will work as quick as I can with doing the giveaway. I have like that whole shelf right over here. That's all full of giveaway items. So I will be doing that one soon. Actually, there's even more stuff scattered about. So Tim wants to know what is everyone buying when we go to Mimos. We're going to Mimos in less than a month. We're going to be out there. So, yeah, I think a lot of people have already kind of pre-set up purchases with Mimo, so we could get them in, so they could buy them when they get there. So, yeah, I'm excited to go there as well. I don't plan on personally buying anything at Mimos, but literally every time I've been out there, I say that, and every single time I buy a watch. Typically, when I see like one or two people, usually Calico and whoever else, pawning over maybe one watch, I'll jump in and just snipe it from them. Evan says humidity is more my problem. Humidity is bad for watches. It's also super bad for the straps. So if you are like a leather strap guy and stuff like that, you need to make sure you put these in a humidity controlled environment because they will mold up. I've seen it. I had a buddy in North Carolina, I think, North or South Carolina, somewhere over there, and it destroyed a bunch of his straps. Okay, Todd is saying Mudman GW 9500, or if I collapse the Oris Pro Pilot bronze he has in Barden 5. I love that watch. The clasp, everything about it, the bronze. It's just such a good watch. don't tell anybody. Don't. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't think Todd really cares. Yeah, exactly. Cole says, Rob, what G-Shock would you suggest for a first-time buyer? Again, depends on wrist size, not so much budget, because I think we're gonna stay way under anyway. But I would probably, if you have roughly a 7-inch wrist, plus minus, I would go with a G-Shock Square. Pick whatever color you want. If you want solar, go solar. Get 5610. If you just want colors and pop and stuff like that, then pick whatever one you want. That's fancy. If you want to get one on the bracelet, get the bracelet. I just say go square. Let's see. Yeah, Evan says Casio metal. I still have not owned one of those. I don't think I have, but not on the full bracelet. Nate Dog says Bluetooth solar. I mean, if you're only gonna buy one, like if you think you just want to be like one and done, then yeah, go Bluetooth solar, um, multi-band, whatever, but definitely Bluetooth solar. Or if you want to go old school, you can get the DW5000R, which I actually have sitting right back here. This would be a good one to get, but I think they're sold out. I mean, they'll get more, but it's there's another one too that you don't have to necessarily go with this one. You could go with they had another one that is very similar to this, except for it is actually solar and everything. So James says wearing a leather strap while eating po? Is that po, right? Or Korean barbecue will make your straps stink to high heaven. Interesting. That is not good. Solar Girl Citizen. Yeah, but he was asking about G-Shock Square. Or G-Shock, not even Square. The DWH 5600. That's a great pick because that has the MIP screen, does it not? DWH 5600. I do. So that would be one of these. Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I didn't mention that one, but yeah, that would be good. I wish they did these personally. I wish they did them without that back thing, but in this case, you actually like having that. So it's a good fit for you. And the screen is insanely easier to read than these standard G-Shock squares. So yeah, 100%, I would go with one of those. And look at, I mean, you can get the white one, which is pretty cool. For it's like on sale, $239. So get that one. I mean, I think this black one with the red trim looks the best, but I have not done a video on one of these yet. Compatible with Strava? I don't know what that is. And you can charge these. I think it does have some solar, but you can do like a charger thing for these too. Yeah, heck yeah, go with that, man. That's a good watch. I'm not buying a G-Shock. I already bought one. Let's see. Stuart says, have I tried the G-Shock GST B6? Do not even know what that is. GST-B600D. So it's the metal one. And I can't find it on the US page. That's like a thinner, that's a cool watch. It's like a thinner metal one. I think I have done a video on something like that. Okay, it's a fitness app. Okay. For the runners. Any more squale left? What's up, everybody? You mean for like sale? I bought one. I have one that I own. It's that Grimaldi limited edition one. Squale. Late to the program tonight, says Cody. Got my studio underdog boiled. Oh, sweet. You did get it. Okay. The Melanese band is great, but I don't care for their leather band. Yeah, I don't care for that. I didn't even try the Melanese. I just, that's cool though. You got it. I'm pretty much going to do the video on mine and sell it. So. The Omega stopping there. I don't know. And they definitely have a market for that. I don't know why. Because like Tag does it. And Omega used to do it. Like you could even get some great watches with their more affordable quartz options. But I'm guessing they're not doing it because the sales numbers just don't produce the results. So why bother, I guess? I don't know. If there was money to be made there, I'm sure they would do it. James says, I turned 50 in less than 2 years. Then would I be considered neo vintage? You're already neo vintage. The way TGV says squale kills me. I, you know what? I'm gonna catch shit on it. However I say it. Like I can say squale, squale. I can say squall. I can. It doesn't really matter. Like it's. How about if I just don't call it anything? It's on there twice too, so I can call it squall, squale. Like whatever. Call it however you want. You're at a hotel in San Antonio. I've never really explored Texas. I've been to Texas once, but I've never really explored. It's a massive state. Well, that's not true. I've been through there twice, but the second time I literally just drove through that little block. I don't know what you call it up at the top, and I was dodging tornadoes. So there you go. We'll just start calling it the squeal. We'll really trigger people. It's like totally way out of base. Just it's yeah, it's a squeal 1521. Uh, let me read this. Evan, unfortunately, a luxury quartz watch example, Breitling Chronospace Aerospace is very expensive to service. Yeah, depending on the models and stuff like that. But I've had literally the only movement I've had a complete failure on has been a Seiko 7C46 or whatever the number is on it in a tuna. Now I do have that automatic, the SARB 059. I did throw that on the time grapher, and it's running a little fast and the amplitude's low. So I'm concerned about the healthiness of that 6R that's in that. So I might pick up an extra movement, but I kind of just set it and it's keeping time fairly good. I'm totally fine with where it's at. Yes, that should also be quartz. Hmm. Calico says the only watch that's failed. That's not entirely true. You've gotten rid of a couple watches that you were failure was imminent, so you bailed on it before it happened to you. But was the orange random Rob notice? So we're gonna get that fixed up for you, buddy. Yeah, Jeff says don't put any 6R. I think Jeff, I think this being on that SARB 059 is actually a 6R15, if I'm not mistaken. The berries didn't fail, it was just dirty. Light pour, not very heavy. Same answer, 6R15 or 6R35. And yeah, think about that watch, how old it is. The 6R movements were like pretty new at that point. So I don't know what I would do. It would be really cool if I could put an 8L in it. But one, 8Ls are probably difficult to get. And even if I were able to find one, they're probably ridiculously expensive. And then trying to get it to retrofit in there would be a pain in the butt. So yeah, I'm pretty much just gonna rock it the way it is. If it were to completely fail, I mean, I could put a 4R movement in it. It's a date only, but I don't know. That's an option. I'm sure I could stuff a 4R in there. Is that my Blanton's up there? Can you see it? Oh yeah, way up there. Yeah, there's a little mini collection going again. There's well, there's those boxes. That's two boxes. There's two Blantons there. There's a Blanton's over here behind the microphone. You can't see. Um, and then there's actually a couple store picks of Buffalo Trace. I've never had a store pick. There's a Midnight Winters or Midnight whatever it's called, Winter's Nights Dram. What else is up there? Eagle Rare, E.H. Taylor, Elijah Craig 18 year. Yeah, there's some gems up there. Drew says, "How long have some of you had your G-Shocks? I've had a G-Shock 5600 kg, which was released in 2011, and the zebra stripes failed in it 2 months ago. I was wondering if that was a common thing or not." Zebra stripes. I don't know. I've never owned one. Well, I've had my I've had my 5610. I've had my 5610 for a while. I don't think it's been 10 years, but I've had it for a while. I see the water is bottom shelf stuff for you. What is my favorite German watch? Favorite German watch. Favorite German watch. Um, I don't know. I don't. Do I even have any German watches? I don't think I do. I don't know. I'd have to think about that. Yes, that is definitely a hit. If the zebra stripes fail, the display will miss segments. I'm not familiar with that at all. So do you have to replace the module then? Eric says, opened an E.H. Taylor last night. The Elijah Craig 18 sounds like amazing stuff. I'm sure the Elijah Craig is going to have a lot of oak forward presence to it, but it is a lower proof. I've had a couple of bottles of E.H. Taylor before, and that is delicious. I will say the first time I had E.H. Taylor, I tend to like to let it air out a little bit. And I'm actually kind of finding that with a lot of the bourbons I try. Like I like them more as I get further down into the bottle. Not in one sitting. That is not one sitting. So Heaven says single hand, no date. Misa Singer. That'd be pretty cool. Hey, Long Island John is here. Thanks for joining us. And I think you're wearing your SLA today, if I'm not mistaken. I picked up mine today. I just opened it up. It's this guy right here. I think that's going to pair really nice with my SARB 059. $10 years. $10 years for a G-Shock seems like what you would expect the lifespan to be. I don't know. It should go longer than that. Fedora Jen says we're drinking an LBC. Just a heads up. A little bit, maybe not a lot. Like I'm not really drinking right now, so or ever again. I love yes, James says I love the SARB 059. The weird stuff is the best stuff. I don't even know if I consider it weird. It was just kind of sleeper. There's a SARB 061, I think, too. That's like there's a different colorway, different black one, but yeah, the 59 just kind of got slept on. No one bought. Well, for one, I think they were pretty expensive. So, and yeah, there was a lot of other options at the time. So, Oscar, Oscar says he's had a G-Shock with more than 20 years going strong. That's probably more likely to see something go closer like 15 to 25 years. But some of them, I mean, that's the resins and stuff are going to fail on them at some point, but you can buy those parts and rebuild them. Long Island John said, thanks for picking that up so I didn't have to. Man, that one was haunting me. Like I was watching it. It was gonna be one of those things. I don't know if anyone's ever like watched a watch that was for sale. And like in your mind, you're like, I can't really buy it, but I really want to buy it. And then the next thing you see it says it's marked sold. And then you're kind of like, dang it. I should have bought it or whatever. Like, and you definitely shouldn't have bought it. But yeah, I couldn't let that one go by. James says none of the uncommon SARBs were in production for more than 2 years. That's also part of the issue is the SARB 059. There wasn't like there wasn't hardly any videos on it, because when it was out, that wasn't common to have like a bunch of watch channels and stuff like that. But there are some, like if we go over and look, if we go over and look at the YouTubes, and I just searched SARB 059, of course, I have a couple of videos on it, but that was 3 years ago that I had that watch. But Chrono Craze, he had a video on it 6 years ago, and I definitely watched his video a few times. And then, yeah, it was a SARB, this cheap watch review that 11 years ago. So this watch has been out a while. But there was the 061, which has the black bezel. I think it's a black dial, whereas the 59 has the really emerald dark green dial. So 13 years ago, there's a Japanese video on it. There's just not a lot of video on it. I mean, most of the videos are freaking my videos. There's one from 6 years ago. And then I don't know what this all black one is. I don't know what the part number is on that one. Yeah, there's just not a whole lot of info there. And then even me, like posting up a video of it, I'm going to post a video of it, and you can't even get them. And you can't necessarily replicate it. There's some parts you can get, but like the case back, you're not going to be able to get. I was able to order a brand new OEM bezel because this one's got some paint peeling off it, and a crystal because there's a slight scratch on the crystal. I don't even think I'm going to replace the crystal. And really, I probably won't even replace the bezel. I'll probably just put those components aside. That way, if I do really dork them up, then I can refresh it. Because at some point, those parts, I maybe even bought the last one. I don't know. Like they're going to be very difficult to source. And that is something that if you have a watch, I don't care what brand it is or what era it is, if you are in love with it and you want to potentially refresh it later, and I put a search out there and make sure you can find like a bezel or a bracelet or anything that you think is going to be a wearable item, and just purchase it now. It's never going to be cheaper than it is right now. Set it aside, label it, make sure you know where it's at. Have a separate file for all that stuff, and just hold on to it because this is a rebuy for me on this SARB 059. I am not selling my rebuys. So like the Big Eyes are rebuy, the SARB is, yeah, I probably have a few other. Yeah, Watch Plaza is actually where I picked it up from, James. So, and I lean on those heavily. So, they still have them, or they must have an inventory. I don't know if I have shipping notice of it yet. So I paid for it. They said they had it. Evan says bronze Hamilton will be a next year watch case for me after watching your vid on them, Rob. Evan, I have another one coming in. I should have it tomorrow. I think I don't know what size you're looking for, but I think Trifecta sent me the white dial bronze case. I looked up. I don't have a video on that, so I'll be doing a video on that. Joe says I have a couple of PIP screws or PIP screws for the Seiko Stargates. Oh, yeah, because the way the Stargates are constructed. Yes, those are good parts to have on hand. Oscar says he is building a G-Shock now, is going to get a new watch, DW9052. Wigmaster, I got a Bell & Ross in an arcade machine. I don't know about that. Oh, then you said joke. There are some really cool Bell & Ross watches. I do like those. And Zelos is not a gimmick brand. Zelos is actually like pretty hardcore. They got some cool stuff. So Elshin has done some phenomenal things with exotic materials, exotic way to construct them. So Fedora Gen, so yeah, watching out for Dane. Yeah, there's Elshin would be like if he ever comes to the States and he goes to a show, I'm gonna go to that show. Like I would definitely want to meet Elshin. I don't own a lot of Zelos, or I think I have one right now. Walk videos. Says my next is going to have a black leather strap, maybe a Seiko Alpinist. It's hard to beat the Seiko Alpinist. They're such great watches, and yeah, good leather strap. I don't learn anything from Jeff McMahon. I take his videos purely as entertainment slash I am concerned about his well-being. He might be losing it. Um, and I hope to see him in Long Beach. I need to message him and make sure he knows that we're going to be at Mimo's in January. But yeah, I don't have a problem with rebuys because I think for me, rebuys, I tend to not sell it again. That's not entirely true. I've definitely sold rebuys, but I'm less likely to sell them. Good. You already know that for a fact. I'll reach out to him anyway and talk to him about it. But if you already know that, that's awesome. Sam says, "Did you see the new Longines Ultra Chron? Like a new version of it? Because okay, Will and you already talked to him about it. I've been down the rebuy road. They become keepers after that. Hopefully. If we go to Longines, is it on their website? Accept all. Let me share screen. It's under the masters. Oh, are you talking about this one? Oh, those are freaking beautiful. That silver dial with the blue. Actually, all of them look good. Not a terrible price either. These are automatic chronograph moon phases. These kind of remind me. There's one Longines that right here in the master collection that I've tried on like this one, and I freaking loved it. In the smaller, the 40 mil like this, 40 or the 42. It's a lot of watch. It is a lot of watch. Ceramic, if cheap, is very brittle, super expensive. Nice. Oh, so you can get it in the 40 or the 42. That's a beautiful watch. Yeah, those are incredible looking. 2-minute warning. Wow, we're already coming up on an hour. So yeah, I will be doing the 90,000 subscriber giveaway soon. If you're watching this and you're wondering how I'm going to do it, I don't know. I'll do the random comment selector thing, but the big thing you need to remember is don't ever pay someone on a giveaway. When I do my giveaways, there's absolutely no charge. I cover everything, the shipping, all the materials, everything. So if it's anything, yeah, don't get scammed. Don't ever, like, you will know if it's legit. It's because it's me. I will 100% make contact with you. So, and it's not happened yet anyway. So I do worry that sometimes people will get taken advantage of thinking so. I'll test that. Oh yeah, Nate Dogg is one. Yeah, I did a pretty good giveaway at 80,000. I did I think three people, three kits. But this kit has way cooler things. Like not cooler, but like more of the cooler things. So it's a pretty complete kit of things that you definitely want, but you never prioritize buying because one, they're expensive, and two, you can pretty much buy a watch for what some of this crap is that I picked up. So yeah, I haven't either. I think YouTube's getting better at that. Um, but the giveaways is gonna be it's gonna be kind of messed up. Thank you, Dane. I appreciate it. I just keep grinding, man. I just keep putting videos up every day, and I can't really control that. So Tennessee Mike says he still has his 20,000 subscriber giveaway for the screwdrivers I want, and which was probably similar to like this kit, if I'm not mistaken. And once I do the screwdriver thing, I think I'm going to order another one of these kits, because I ordered this kit for the 90,000, but I think I'm going to add a Bourbon kit, so it'll end up being both of these, because when I was getting ready to do the video on these ones, which are more of a T for the screwdriver blade, I started to realize that in order to size, there's no standard in the industry. Meaning that when you have a screw pin and a watch bracelet, from brand to brand to brand to brand, they're all different. So you can't just buy this kit and think you're good. You can't just buy this kit and think you're good. You literally need piles of screwdrivers. And however you figure out how to organize them, that's up to you. But you definitely need to do your due diligence. And when you're getting ready to mess with that screw, make sure the screwdriver fits completely. So, and Floridian has the time grapher. There's a time grapher in this giveaway. There's going to be multiple screwdriver kits. There's actually there's another pretty expensive Bourbon tool for sizing a bracelet in there. Sam's dad says give a puppy away. No, I'm not doing that. There's a watch display. There's an actual watch that Larry C built. Actually, Larry C just chimed in. Yes, watch tools are great. And what else? Oh, Bob. Oh, see, I forgot everything I bought. There's a Bob's Labs spring bar tool. This is a Horatech, which is similar to the Bourbon, but it's the really expensive tweezers for doing your spring bar. I've never even used one of these. I've never even tried one of these. So some good gems in there. So I will be doing that giveaway as soon as I can. So let me turn off the lights so we can get some. Oh, hold on a second. Before I do that, I have to mention, district time. The only reason I want to mention this real quick is because whether you realize it or not, March is going to be here before you know it. I'm gonna do the Lume in a second, but district time posted up. They're trying to get people to register for tickets. There's no charge. You can set up for Saturday or Sunday. If you want to pay, you can pay. I don't know what that was, and get VIP. But you don't need to. So here's all the info. I'll put a link to district time in the description down below. But if you plan on going, just do the tickets. It helps them give a head count. The VIP thing, it's cool. Like, I'll be there if you want to, because there'll be a fewer people, so it might be more likely to have a one-on-one. But you absolutely don't need to do it. The show is going to be an awesome show. If you're going there and you want to hang out and talk to me and stuff like that, you definitely can still do that. You don't have to do the VIP. But if you're going to go to that show, if you're within a reasonable distance to go to DC, this is hands down my favorite show out of all the shows I've been to is district time. So, all right, let's Lume things up. Let me trying to put this on more of a dark screen so it's not. There we go. Let's Lume this up because we got the South Park, the Big Eye, the Alpinist, the whatever that is, Landmaster. Okay, so we got some good ones here. Boom. And that's that full Lume dial. That's that ZRC. I don't know if I told you guys this. I didn't tell you guys this yet because I don't even think I posted the video for it yet. I bought a ZRC. We all knew it was going to happen at some point. Everybody assumed it was going to be the orange dial one. You guys were all wrong. Hell, I was wrong. I bought that guy. That's the one I bought. So thanks for joining. Everybody have a Merry Christmas. If for some reason I can find time to sneak away and bust out a quick live stream on Christmas Day, I'm going to do that as long as you guys join me. But I will try to do that. No guarantees. If not, have a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you guys on the next one.